Hey, welcome back to another edition of Leader in Ring Radio. I'm your host, Dave Duenez. So I got Abner Mares scheduled to come on first thing this morning here on 9 a.m. in a beautiful day. Well, actually, I haven't even went outside. I'm lying to you. I haven't even went out there yet. But I'm hoping it's going to be a beautiful day here on Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope not everybody's going crazy and nuts in the home while we're still on self-quarantine. I know some businesses are starting to open up. I know where I'm at, they're starting to open up. A lot of folks walking around like if there never exists that coronavirus. So, I don't know how it is in your city. You can call in 347-215-7598. Let's talk boxing here on Leave the Ring while we wait for Abner Mares. Found it really interesting. I thought it was great, man, to really see I mean, at this point, at this stage right now of where we're at, right? Think about this. If where we're at, fighters now being even more active of what's going on. Being more active on social media than in an actual ring. I mean, it's like the best thing we can get at this moment. You got Gervonta Davis calling Devin Haney an email champion. Jorge Linares calling Ryan Garcia, internet champion, saying he needs to go get a belt. And then you got Ryan Garcia going at it with everybody. And one of them is Abner Mares, which I'm waiting for. I just texted him right now just to let him know that we are waiting for him to come on the line here so we could talk to him and stuff, Let me check to see who's in the chat room really quick. Oh, man, it's nice there in San Francisco. That's good to hear, brother. I can't wait to go back to San Francisco, go to the wharf and have some clam chowder, enjoy that. Last Father's Day, I went out there for, my family took me to Alcatraz because I'm a big Alcatraz guy. I've read a lot of books about the escape, the big escape and those inmates never been found. I won't get too much into that because I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to something like that. But anyways, going back to what I was saying, and then you got like Evander Holyfield saying I'm back at Mike Tyson. Folks are entertaining that. We touched a little bit about it. I told you how I felt about that, Mike Tyson. I'm not playing too much into it, Okay, so Abner Mares is telling me he's on already. Let me patch him in. Let's patch in Abner Mares here on Leave the Ring. Abner, ¿qué pasó, bro? Are you there?
Yes, sir. I'm right here, man. How you doing?
Good, bro. Good morning. First off, man, thanks for coming on such an early time. So how are you?
Good, bro. I usually wake up. I usually wake up at 8, so I'm good. Thank you, man. Thank you for having me on.
No, man. Thank you for coming through, bro. I appreciate it. First off, bro, how's the familia? How's everything going? How are you guys dealing with the COVID-19? How's it been for you?
Yeah, you know what? Hard times obviously for everyone all around the world, worldwide. Because we're just living in a different world. Different way of living, basically. But if you're asking me personally, this is in a way it's not so bad for myself because I'm a big family man. I'm usually with my kids, with my wife. I'm a home type of guy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The only difference now, obviously, is that the whole world is like this. Like the restaurants are closed, things like that. But I'm okay. I can't. I'm not too edgy or too I can't wait for everything to go back to normal. The only thing is basically my job, and I think that's where everybody's hurting.
Right.
Back to their usual work and getting paid.
Exactly. No, I feel you. And I feel everybody out there that are not able to provide for their families and they have to depend on the government and the frustration that a lot of folks are having at this moment. So I wanted you on for two things. Here's the reason I wanted you on today. Obviously, we're going to talk a little bit about what Ryan Garcia, I forgot to introduce you as the old man onto the show, bro. I'm sorry. I should have introduced the old man, Abner Mares. Joining another old man, Dave Duenez on Leaving the Ring, man. It's been some time since I've had you on, but let me go back real quick of what I was saying, why I wanted you on. Um, Two things. I've always, I've spoken to the fighter many, many times. So I want to speak to the fighter, but then I want to speak to the commentator, Abner Mares. Okay. So first off, let me
Okay.
speak to the fighter, and which is, how do you feel, man, when you see a young and upcoming guy from the Golden Boy stables call you an old man? How did that, when you caught that right away on in your tweet on your timeline? What went through your head?
Right. Felt like an old man. I think my back started hurting right after I saw that message.
Your arthritis started
No, I
kicking
didn't
in.
take it personal. I,
Uh,
I didn't take it personal. It is what it is. The kid's young. I think he's like 20, 21. It's that new generation mentality. No respect towards their elderly, basically.
right.
They're well been there. We've been that age where we feel indestructible and we feel like um, you don't have to show respect to anyone, and that's what he does. He's a well-known kid on social media. He's got a lot of followers, and at the end of the day, I think and I'm going directly at him because it's exactly what it is. He's believing all the bullshit. All his fans are feeding him, including his promotion. Which is telling him he is the best in the future. So again, I don't blame him. He is he's trapped in a world where he's just being pampered and he's being treated like the nickname he has, a king.
Right, the king. Now, I had read somewhere that I think it was on Boxing Scene. I could be wrong here, but I had read somewhere that you were up in line to face Gervonta Davis. Was that true? And if it was, what happened? Why is that dissolved, and why is it now Santa Cruz?
Yeah, no. Thank you for asking that because I get a lot of questions every time I post. Me wanting to fight someone is like, what happened to King? I mean, what happened to Tank Davis? Are you
Right,
scared? Why aren't you fighting then? So obviously, we had a fight scheduled last year in February, early February, and unfortunately, I got injured. Right.
right,
So that didn't go through. He ended up fighting somewhere else in a sold out arena that we both filled up, more than anyone I did. It was here in my town. I remember getting a call a couple of weeks before the fight from my company telling me that they oversold tickets and that people wanted to go to this fight, so they had to add bleachers. And I'm talking about the StubHub Center that is now known as the Dignity Health Center here in LA.
right.
So I mean, it was a sold out arena when I was going to fight Tank Davis. So unfortunately, like I said, going back, I got injured. I had a eye injury, so that happened, and so I had to be away. I had to get some time off and heal properly. So going back, I told Mr. Terrell and I told the company, hey, if possible, could I get the Tank Davis right away,
Hmm.
and being directly, they told me, well, it really depends on where he is in his career. I'm like, okay, cool. So right now, basically, what's going on with that is that he's got already a scheduled fight against Leo Santa Cruz, and that's beyond the shoot.
Yeah.
He already Leo got ahead of me, and I'm not hating on him. He earned it, and he's up next to fight Tank Davis. So I'm basically that's where it is. So when people ask me when are you gonna fight Tank, well, I can't. He's got a fight coming up with Leo Santa Cruz.
Right. So where does that leave? I mean, where does that leave you with your promotional company? I mean, do they now like put you back in the back burner, or is that up to you to figure out who you
No,
want to face next?
no, no, not at all. No, no. Yeah, it's basically if I can't have that fight, there's other fights.
Hmm.
Believe it or not, we were thinking of a doubleheader prior to all this COVID-19.
Hmm.
We're thinking of a doubleheader that was scheduled, I think, in May, June. It was going to be Leo Tank and myself, and we were still in the works when all this happened. So it would have been great. And the reason for that doubleheader was because the winner of each, the main and the co-main will eventually meet up in the next fight. So that's what we had in mind, prior to all this. So and I'm just basically I was looking for an opponent. They had mentioned Gary Russell. Which again, it's a big name. He's a world champion,
A great
but
fight.
not at 26 because I don't see myself going back to 26.
Yeah, you're
But it
practically
would have been
starving
a
yourself.
great fight.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah,
that'd be
and
crazy
and
stuff.
and in the past week, I've been called out by Jojo Diaz, which in my eyes is not a bad fight either. He holds the title at super featherweight division, at the IBF title that he holds,
Right, and
and
coming off a
also
great win.
Jamel Herring, who is
Right.
yeah, and Jamel Herring, who is a WBO champion. So I mean, all these are great fights. So I'm basically not like urging like, oh my God, I need a fight or I need a Ryan Garcia. Like a lot of people are writing there like, oh, you're just trying to get a payday. No, really, I think I'll get paid more fighting any of these world champions because Ryan honestly is not a world champion. He is just a big name on social media.
You know what? Let me ask you this because I can't be alone in this. When I'm reading some of the comments from some of these people that are on Twitter, I cringe so much. I mean, how much do you cringe? I mean, here you're a guy that went to the bantamweight tournament. You did a phenomenal. You were undefeated for a very long time. You were fighting the best available that were around. I mean, some really tough guys. I remember one year you were just going through every single fight, taking on every guy that had an undefeated record. You were the man. When you read some of these comments of people defending Ryan Garcia by telling you need to go do something, that your record is not that good too. How bad is it for you to bite your tongue, not to respond to these people, because you're going to get sucked in for not even a minute. You're going to be sucked in for
Yeah,
hours arguing and trying to convince these guys about your resume.
yeah, yeah. You know what? I take a I take a deep breath, and then I remember that this kid's following, and that's just being honest. It's mainly kids that don't know boxing. It's not a big boxing, following that he has. Is mainly girls that they're attracted to the kid. Kids that are they look up to him, which is that's good. Everybody needs a role model.
Right.
But his generation, they don't know our boxing, history basically. So these are basically non-knowing boxers, fanatics. So I don't take it to heart. It is what it is. He and I'm, listen, and I'm gonna stop right there, and I'm gonna tell you, I think we need a Ryan Garcia in our boxing. I'm not hating on him. I actually like it because it brings a different crowd into the sport, that boxing needs,
Mhm.
and boxing is evolving, and I get that. But when people start commenting shit that they don't know, it's ridiculous. It gets you like, bro, like you don't do your homework. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But that's basically what I am. I can't hate on the kid. I can't hate on this following. Believe me, I get a lot of messages and people talking smack and like mad shit. And then I go back and look at their profile picture, and it's a 12, 13-year-old kid, bro. Like,
Right.
what are you gonna do to that? I can't.
Is,
Yeah.
is, is, is Ryan Garcia our Takashi for boxing without the snitching, though?
Nah, not at all. But anyway, I think he is nah, nah. I think Tank Davis is more of in that era, but area. I'm sorry.
Right.
Brian Garcia is just the pretty boy of boxing, like the Oscar De La Hoya, basically, but
Mhm.
now with the phone and social media platform that Oscar didn't have back then. Oscar just had the TV, which was humongous, and that's why he became the superstar that he was. And but with merits, coming back from the Olympic and gold medal Olympian, and a great fighter. So that's what I'm saying with merits. Like this guy really, like he was a shit. Like he was a boxer.
Right.
So he created Oscar. And speaking of Oscar, he created all that hype because of his looks, obviously, and a great, social, not social media, great medium.
Hmm.
And now with King Ryan, it's a new generation. Now you got the platform of the phone and social media and videos and this and that. We live in the world of YouTubers, bro. Like, nowadays you look for resume, like what do you do? I'm a YouTuber. Everybody's a YouTuber now. Everybody's
Right.
some type of influencer, on social media, any type of influences.
Yeah,
You
we
know, new
definitely don't
generation,
compete to
man.
those guys. We definitely cannot compete with those kids because they are just far light years ahead of us in terms of knowing how to
Yeah.
use social media, man. Let me ask you this: What how do you,
Hmm.
if how do you describe Ryan Garcia in terms as a fighter, as a person, in your opinion? How would you describe him? If you're on the PBC network on your show
Hmm.
that you do with Sean Porter, how would you describe him?
I would describe him as a teacher. I would describe Ryan Garcia as a great fighter.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that is on his way to greatness and boxing with the help of his promotion and management, that they're doing a phenomenal job, honestly, of taking this kid. We are hating on him because he's not fighting the talent, or the great fighter that we want him to face. But I mean, being real, he's not ready. And every single fighter, including myself, was taking that route in a way, where you had to build up your record to get those fights, and even more so with him because I don't believe he is a beast in boxing. I just feel that he has, everybody has something in boxing,
Mm-hmm.
whether you're fast, whether you pop, whether you move a lot, whether you're a pressure fighter. Everybody, and this kid, he's got a pop. He's got power in his hands, but not yet has he faced someone that has pushed him, or really tested him. But because the company and the management doesn't feel like he's ready for that yet, and which I don't
Right.
blame him. He's a product of a company that they're investing in. So I mean, it makes sense. If you're investing money in the kid, you're putting money on someone that's a product that you want it to grow. You're not gonna throw him to a lions right away. So again, I just feel that he is the future. I've always said that David Haney, King Ryan, uh, Teofimo Lopez, Tank Davis, and I'm sure I'm forgetting many, many other names. They're the future. It is what it is. Their age, their momentum, the what they're doing right now with social media, they're taking it to another different level that we are yet to have to get accustomed to. And it is what it is. But once you start calling and barking at a the lion's cage, you're in for trouble. That's all I'm saying.
Let me ask you this: Do you feel you're a gatekeeper, or no? You're still in your prime where you can give these guys
Yeah, you got to correct that.
right. So I want you to correct it. How do you feel?
I mean, I'm still, yes, I'm still a gatekeeper. I'm a guy that has my name, obviously, because of my accomplishments, what I've done in boxing. But I'm also a fighter that has, a lot to yet prove in boxing. So the way I feel like they're seeing me is as a good name that they could put on his resume. Obviously knowing that I've been off for some time, they feel like it's a great opportunity to basically beat me. If they had a chance, it'll be right now that I'm an unactive. So so I
Because you're
think
an old
that's what
man,
the company feels like. If they,
right?
yeah, if they wanted to face me. so it is what it is. I want to, like I told you, if it's not Ryan, regardless, I'm coming back strong. I'm coming back big, and I cannot wait.
How do you feel about Jorge Linares saying, being in? I don't even know who did the interview. And there was some good questions they had asked him. I wish I knew who did the interview. It was. If I can find out, I'll tweet it out for everybody that's listening. But how do you feel about Jorge Linares saying about Ryan Garcia? Because he picked everybody else. He picked, he wanted a rematch with Lomachenko. He wants to fight Gervonta Davis next, then Devin Haley, and then when they asked him about Ryan Garcia, he said Ryan Garcia doesn't have a belt. He has to get a belt. Then he can earn his shot to fight me. What do you think and feel about? Do you agree with Jorge Linares on that sense, or are you like, no, he should fight him
One hundred
regardless?
percent. One. 100%. I'm sorry, I
Mhm.
kept interrupting you.
No,
One
no.
hundred percent. Listen, the only reason anyone would want to fight Ryan Garcia is because of his name, not because of what he's done in boxing. Because he hasn't done shit, and I keep saying it, and it's true. He hasn't done shit,
Hmm.
but just his name. If you take away the name, there's a lot of champions out there that don't have names. Like Jermaine Herring. He's not a big name, but he's a world champion and he's a great fighter.
Right.
Even Jojo Diaz. I mean, he's a great fighter, but he doesn't have the following that this kid has. So that's basically what this kid has an advantage, that he has a big following on social media, and we're calling it how it is. But has he done anything in boxing? No, nothing, nothing. I mean, and it's just the honest truth. So when you give Linares fighters to pick, you obviously you're gonna go for the top dogs, which are Lomachenko, Teofimo Lopez, the title holders basically, you know.
Right.
But nowadays, a big name like Ryan Garcia is should be on your list because of the name, but not the top fighters that you should fight.
You
You
think
know what I'm
he?
saying? I don't know if I'm making sense.
No, no, you make perfect sense. You know what I'm trying to make sense of. Do you think honestly now, because of this new generation that bring this large audience? I mean, Ryan Garcia, like you mentioned earlier, has touched into the YouTube. I mean, he's an Instagram phenom. This kid brings a massive, massive, massive amount of audience. Do you think that it's starting to
Mm.
become we're starting to walk into an area that there's a strong possibility that some of these fighters are not going to need these titles, because those titles, I mean, they mean something to put, for you, because it's the accomplishment and it's the traditional way of recognizing a fighter because they're a champion. But do you think we're kind of treading into some un, un, unknown territory with these, you know, social media fighters like Ryan Garcia?
We
I
are,
hate to
bro.
call him a social media
We
fighter
are.
because I think he is a real fighter. But
And I'm gonna give you a perfect example. I'm
go
gonna
ahead.
give you a perfect example. We are, man, and it's sad. It's sad. I don't know what boxing is turning into. But if it's going that route, well, thank God I'm on my way out. But listen, these kids, these YouTubers, I don't even know their names, that fought not too long ago, uh, um, on the zone. They brought a big crowd, bro. They big numbers,
Right.
big crowd, big money for the company. Were they fighting for a world title? Hell no. They're not even fighters. They're YouTubers. I think one of them was Paul something.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so you
Logan,
know who I'm
Paul
talking
Logan or
about.
something like
They
that.
fought and they brought in a different crowd. We're talking about, they brought in YouTubers, they brought in rappers, they brought in people that, famous people, and that's just being real. They brought in a good crowd and a sold out arena for them to see them to fight. And it was sad. I can't remember who fought that night, but there were champions or fighters
That do it
that
for
done shit
reals.
in boxing that were undercards,
Right.
for this fight. That I was like, oh my god, really? Like, oh shit, like that's. I'm sorry, but that's sad. If you're a world champion and you're an undercard for these kids, I mean, that's kind of disrespectful. But again, that's me thinking. I get it. We're living in a new generation, a new way of watching boxing, and it is what it is. But
It
yes,
is, man.
we have to. It's changing. Like you just said, I think we're on a way of people that and that's why you have a lot of kids nowadays, fighters, and I don't blame them, filming, and I do it too, filming my training, putting stuff on social media, because it's not just us, it's our PRs, publicists telling us, like, hey, Amber, you got to put more on your social media, you got to do this, because it's a thing now.
Right.
You have to do that to let yourself known. You're not before, and I was still part of it. Before it was a note on the newspaper. Oh, you came out on the newspaper, Emmer. That's amazing, But now we live in the, like, oh, you're trending. You're on Twitter, So I'm an old school generation, bro.
You know what? You know what? baffles me is your PR is telling you got to get on there more often. You got to do this, on social media. Well, here's the thing. Tell me if I'm wrong,
Yeah.
but if eventually, because everybody's now doing their own PR, there's going to be a lot of these public relations going out of a job. Because what purpose would you have them if you got to do all the legwork to get yourself, market yourself, get your face out there to the world? Why are you going to pay somebody 10, 15% to do something you're already doing, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
You know, you know.
That is true.
Let me ask you, how do you feel about, because right now, I mean, that division you're in, either South or North, I mean, it's stacked, okay? But what's your feelings and your thoughts about like guys that are still telling each other, like, I mean, look, right now on Twitter, because obviously we're not going to get fights for quite some time, probably not going to get back to normal until next year. But how do you feel about these guys like Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia, Jorge Linares, Lomachenko, Timofey Lopez? I mean,
Hmm.
Lopez and Lomachenko are going to fight, but the rest of everybody else is just pointing out who they would fight. But then it kind of dissolves away on after social media, forgets about it. How do you feel about these guys not fighting each other, not pressuring their promoters to sign a contract to get in the ring?
Um, I can't really get into that. Like, that's their own personal, way of doing things. They're all great fighters, and when people tell me that, the question basically of why are these guys calling each other out and this and that? Well, why not? It's entertaining, and it's the
Right.
quarantine, bro. Like, everybody's been fight, and we're really itchy to get in the ring, and when you see a message or a yeah a tweet from someone, it gets you going, it boils you up, and that's what's happening with these guys. Everybody's calling everybody out, and it's entertaining. I don't blame them. I don't blame myself. We're itchy to get back in the ring, and hopefully sooner than later. I like what Dana White did with the UFC. Um, I was a big doubter when they were saying that the fight was going to happen. I'm like, nah, trust me, it's going to get canceled.
Right.
And then obviously when one of the fighters came out positive for COVID, I'm like, oh, here, see, they're going to cancel the whole thing, but they didn't. And it was a great. I think it was a fantastic way of bringing a sport back. Regardless if it's UFC, if it is what it is. It's back. And I was one of the many watching this fight, and the way it was, with no audience, and just a different way of watching a fight was intrigued. I was intrigued by it, but at the same time, I was like, man, I can see myself fighting like this.
Right.
I read interviews with fighters saying that, oh, I wouldn't, I can't. I would just wait when there's a crowd. Like, man, stop it, man. You were an undercard at one point in your career, your life. When nobody was there. I remember fighting when I was the undercard of the undercard of the undercard, and
Right.
then the only people that were in the arena was my family. You know what I'm saying? So don't come at me with you need a pack arena in order to fight, because I mean, I get it. It gives you big time energy. It's electrifying having the crowd, being there. But if it's meant to come back little by little with no audience, so be
Right.
it. I'm in line to be one of the first ones to try it.
Oh man, I would love that. I don't see the problem. I had said on Twitter, like, look, I go to gyms, I watch guys spar, and a lot of the times, that saying they're like go 60%, but shit, you always see guys that smokers go over 100.
Yeah,
Even in sparring, when the other guy's not
yeah,
supposed to damage the dude because he's got a fight in 2 months. So I don't see the major issue.
yeah.
But then again, like I agree with you. Some fighters
You,
do
you,
need
you know,
that
and
energy.
I'm gonna give you an idea.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna give you a great idea if you guys want to do this or not. But back in the days when I was coming up, there was this show called Gym Wars,
Right, from Max Boxing.
and exactly. So I see that coming back, and what basically, for the audience that don't know what that is, basically they would go and do and commentate a sparring session.
Right.
So I remember this was in LA boxing gym, and I was one of the few fighters that were like, oh, so today we have Abner Mares sparring, so and so, 4, 5, 6 rounds, and there were wars, bro, and it was more
Yeah,
entertaining
they
than
were.
any other, professional fight. So I can see that coming back inside the gyms.
Yeah, a lot of kids that didn't have a chance to see the Inca, Edwin Valario. I mean, you go to the Gym Wars on Max Boxing, you could see a lot of
Yeah,
his
he,
fights.
he was in it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
let's move on. There's something else I want to talk to you about. Your your career was, like I said, when you were with Golden Boy, you were fighting the who's and the what's, everybody. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you left. You went with Al Haymon after the divorce. I've always wondered, bro. I always wanted to ask you,
Mhm.
why did you
But it
opt
was,
to
yeah.
why did you opt to leave Golden Boy? What was there not a better offer on the table from Golden Boy? And Al just kind of,
There was no offer, period.
really,
Yeah, exactly. So that's another thing. Like people talk shit, like without knowing facts and without knowing anything. And it's not me talking shit at them like this. I'm just telling the truth because people are shooting at me. You know what I'm saying?
hmm
So
hmm
I gotta say what it is. And I didn't forcibly left them or got out of a contract. My contract ended. 5 years were up, and I said, hey, and I sat down with Oscar, and I sat down with the whole Golden Boy team. PBC is knocking on my door. They want to sign me, but you guys were good to me, and something that I'm always gonna hold a grudge for, and always gonna feel, some type of way towards Golden Boy is that they never ever mention me or recognize me as their first full-grown world champion that I
yeah,
was
yeah. I
and
mean,
that I
they
became.
got you from
I was their
out the
first
gate.
world
Yeah.
champion. When the company started, I was it was me. Abner Mares, the first world champion Golden Boy had.
Yep.
Facts. Look it up. But
Yep.
do they ever mention that? Hell no. Did they put me up against all the fucking top dogs and basically wanted me to lose? Hell yeah, And that's what they want to for you, especially on your way when you're about to finish your contract. Why? Because you're gonna be worth less if you lose.
Right.
But little that they knew that I was gonna win the whole tournament and I was gonna come back, gonna be gonna be good. And again, going back to that, I said, hey Oscar, boom boom boom, PVC's on my door. What's going on? Hey, I got you, Admiral. We're gonna sign you. We're gonna treat you like. Now I'm not even gonna say you exactly what he told me, but I don't want to bring more drama. Um, but he did tell me that there was a contract coming. I waited a week, no contract. Oscar, where's the contract? Email it to me. Oh yeah, I'm gonna send it to you. No contract. Hey Oscar, let's meet up better, Abner. Okay. Nah, I just got tired of it. I have to feed my family. I think I was in fighting toward during that time, and I said, you know what? I didn't even tell him anything. I just went ahead and signed with PUC. There. And all of a sudden, Abner's a bad guy. Abner left Golden Boy.
Right.
Abner betrayed Golden Boy. Abner, you know, he's the worst. But little did they know or knew that there was never a contract, and I just had to go my way. Contract is over. Better deal, better company. I'm gone,
Right.
and that's what it is. But I'm good with Oscar. I'm good with the whole Golden Boy crew. I mean, even though they did kick me out of
I was going to ask you that. What happened
was it
there? What happened there? I knew. So this is you commentating. This is you now media working for PBC, and you're
Yeah, I
at a
was
Golden
working
Boy
for
event.
Telemundo at the
Yeah.
time.
So what happened
hmm
there? Who came up to you and told you, "Hey, you got to go"?
Yeah, I'm not gonna say names who pointed me out and who said who kicked
Who
me
ratted
out,
you
but
out?
the security.
Right.
Yeah, but the security guard did come up to me and said, "Hey, you have to leave. You're not allowed here." And I showed him my badge because I had a media credential, and I
Right.
said, "Yes, I am. Here's my credential." I was working for Telemundo at the time. Like, oh yeah, but the company doesn't want you here. You got to get out. So they basically escorted me out of the media center, and it sucked. I felt embarrassed. I felt
Jeez.
that one of the few times where I felt like really, really low. It was just a moment where I was like, fuck, really, like what's going? And everybody looking at me, and it's like, what's going on, Abner? And the people was even were trying to stop him, like,
Right.
no, what are you guys doing? That's the champ. That works for Telemundo, and they just kicked me out, bro. And
Damn,
and
bro.
and
Que
so
gacho.
hey, who's the bad guy? I wasn't doing anything wrong. I wasn't even talking bad about their fighter. I think it was Canelo fighting that night,
Right.
and I was praising Canelo, and I was saying that he to win, and but it is what it is, man.
Do you look back at? Let me ask you this: do you look back and go, man, I wish, because I mean, social media was around, uh, when that happened, and there was an uproar, but it wasn't like massive like it would be today. Do you look back and go, man, I wish I would have done what Ryan Garcia did? Because that's how Ryan, to me, and everybody else saw it when he started having his fit with Goldenboy. Do you think back and go like, man, I should have done that. I should have did what Ryan Garcia did. Maybe I would have gotten that deal. Maybe I would have gotten a better deal. Or you're just perfectly fine and happy with where you're at now.
No, I'm blessed, man. I'm happy where I am. I'm really blessed. And I'm always gonna. And that's one thing what people have to understand. Remember, there was a time where every freaking fighter will thank Al Heyman after their fights or before their fights.
Yeah.
Remember that
Yes.
when TBC first started? I think they thank Al Heyman before they thank God. I
Right.
want to thank Mr. Al Heyman. Oh yeah, and God too. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
um, because this man really took care of us, man. This guy was taking care of all the fighters, you know.
Now, taking care of you guys,
And
like, I mean,
we
getting
were
you guys more money, right? That's what you
fi-
mean, or more than that.
financially.
Right.
When you're coming out of a company and then you start getting paid like stupid money, man, you're like, what the, like, I just wasted 5 years of my career. But it is what it is. That's why all these fighters that are in PBC, there's option. There's fighters obviously that were not happy. It happens in all companies.
Right.
But I think 99% of the people that are in PBC, they're happy with their pay. They're happy with the treatment. They're happy with everything that's going on and how they treat them. And at the end of the day, it should be that way. A company should be a family. You should be,
Right.
and that's why I tell Mr. Al, like, I'm gonna end my career at PBC, and then after this, I still want to work with you and for you and for the company because I'm grateful and I'm happy. It's a family. I love Sylvia. I love Mr. I love all the crew. I love everybody at PBC. We're a family. Right now when all this COVID-19 happening, we message each other. How you doing? How's everybody as a family? That's who we are. We take care of each other. So to answer your question, if I should have done the route Ryan did, and thrown a fit and and gone a better contract with Goldenboy. Nah, him. I'm happy where I'm at. Period.
Were you? Let me ask you. How was your feelings about Ryan airing out the dirt? Even like Canelo did the same thing. What was your thoughts and feelings about that?
Yeah. No, they did the right thing. They honestly did the right thing. Ryan Garcia. I know his manager. I think I talked to Ryan's manager more than he does. Honestly, I know him really good. Canelo, what he did, amazing, world record. Contract. What he got
Right.
with his own. It's amazing. It's great, and it's no one hating on no one here. It's good for boxing. You know what I'm saying? It's good for them. And I'm glad they went their route. So, another thing, people that are saying that, I'm trying to get a payday with Ryan,
Mm-hmm.
and, that's just facts. Ryan just started getting paid less than a year ago, before I
Right.
knew he was getting paid shitty money. And again, but I get it. You're nobody yet, but at the same time, you're bringing in a lot of people. A lot of people. So he thought he was like, I'm selling tickets, I'm bringing crowd, like, I need to get paid, and that's exactly what he did, and that's exactly what his manager, my friend, did for him. He got him a crazy contract, a multi-million-dollar contract, and
Yeah, I did.
that's good for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm happy for him. I'm a the kid. He works hard. It takes time too. Posting on social media and all that shit. Like, it takes time. It's I'm not hating on him. So
I give it to that little cabron. He pulled it off, man. He did a great job marketing themselves. I mean, he did everything that Golden Boy should have done. I mean, he already had it. He was doing it already, But let me ask you this, because you said that, I mean, PBC is a family. You guys are still texting each other. Are you? I mean, so is Al Heyman
Oh yeah.
texting you? Are you texting Al Heyman, or is just everybody out
Nah, I call Mr. Out him. I don't text him. I
there?
call Mr. Him.
So has he
Out of
gave you?
respect, I just
Uh huh. Has he? Because one of our guys that are
uh,
listening right now, Nado, he asked, when does Abner anticipate the PBC returning with live boxing? Have you heard anything yet on your end?
no, no, I don't. I don't like to give fight fans hopes on dates because
Right.
when they're not talked about yet, why throw them out? So no, I haven't heard anything. I do know that we're being patient and everything's gonna come back. They're working on something, but I don't know what dates. Um, and then going back to the Ryan thing, I did call Mr. Al and I said, "Hey, Mr. Al, this," and it's like, "I know, I heard, boom, boom, boom. What do you want to do?" I said, "Huh, well, if this kid wants to fight and the money's good, let's do it." So that's where I'm at, and that's why I tweeted what I tweeted.
Right.
I said, "The ball's on your side now. The ball's on your side, kid. Do you do what you have to do, make the calls you have to make, and get back at me." Till this day, I still haven't received anything. So we'll see what happens. And if it, like I said, if it doesn't happen, if it doesn't end up happening, it doesn't hurt me in any way. I have my company, I have my people that are working on a return date for myself. So we'll see what happens with that. And that's something that I take pride in, as far as always wanting to make a fight. If I see a fight and people want it, I fight for it. With the Tank fight, I was the one that made that fight happen. With the Leo fight, I told Mr. Ra I wanted a second. As a matter of fact, I'm telling Mr. Ra I want a third fight, and it could happen. Despite me losing twice against Leo already, they were close fights. They were good fights. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I told him, hey, can you get the third fight? And that's why he said, hey, if Leo beats Tank or any of these guys, you're up next. So I'm good, bro. Like, what I'm saying? Like, I'm happy with my career. I'm happy with my company. I'm happy where I'm at, and it's just a matter of patience and hoping that boxing comes back sooner than later.
Let me ask you one last question here. So the fallout with Golden Boy, have they reached? I mean, even after escorting you out of their event, have you guys came across each other and had things been, settled? Have you guys are in good terms, or is it still like, hey, what's up? Like you're cordial. That's it.
Yeah, I'm cordial towards everyone, bro. My parents, I was raised differently. My parents tell me, that the best way I don't know how to say properly in English, but is he said me, my mom say like, que la mejor manera de hacerle ver a alguien mal es saludarlo. Even if you
Yeah.
don't like them, or even if you feel that they don't like you, it's cordially just saying hi, and that's just basically a slap in their face and
Right.
make them feel that, hey,
My mom used to say
we're
that, bro.
human beings. It is
Yeah.
what it is. So I'm gonna tell you, I didn't end in the best terms and best relationships with my old manager, Frank Espinoza. And why am I bringing him, to this conversation? Well, because I do that every time I see the man. I shake his hand and I say hello, because he helped me, to a point, and I'm grateful for that. And I'm not gonna talk bad about the person. So, if he doesn't want to shake my hand or he doesn't want to say hi, that's his personal thing, But I always do. So if I see a Golden Boy, Oscar De La Hoya, I shake his hand. I say, "How you doing, sir?" All the Golden Boy people, regardless of what they said about me or what they still are or what they're doing, I don't hold any grudge.
Right.
Everybody lives differently. Even though I'm gonna tell you another story,
Go ahead.
and the reason is because she's a good friend of mine. Her name is Monica Sears.
Monica Sears.
She
Right.
worked for the company many.
Yep.
She worked for the company many years. Dear friend of mine. When I first started, she was there.
She
And
used to scare
who's
me,
the
bro.
one of the persons that kicked me out? Huh? She's scary,
She's
yeah, I know.
she
But she did
used
her
to.
job, bro.
I
She
know
she
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 did.
got paid.
She
She
was
was getting
phenomenal at
paid
her
for
job.
what I know. A lot of people said she was a bitch. She was like, she was, because she got paid to be that person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So Monica is a dear friend of mine,
Right.
and when I heard she got fired, I was like, wow, that's just sad. And I'm gonna tell you why, because Um, a lot of people don't know this one. When Canelo fought Chavez Jr., I was with Chavez Jr., because I've known his father for many years. I know Chavez more than I know Canelo. That's being honest. So I was in the corner. So I was in the dressing room prior to the weigh-in. So we were pumping him up. We're talking.
Right.
Like, come with me. Let's go up on the stage. For the weigh-in. Cool. So I'm following them. Boom. I get stopped by Monica, my friend,
Oh
my
way.
amiga, my comadre. Abner, you gotta get down. You gotta get down the stage. Like, come on, like, what the fuck? It's me, Abner. Like, what's going on? Abner, I'm sorry. I'm doing my job. Abner, like, please listen. Be a friend and just go down. Like, you can't. So
Damn.
later, yeah, that was hurtful. I remember I stopped talking to her for weeks.
Yeah.
And then she reached out to me and she's like, "You gotta understand, Abner, this is my job. Like, they told me that you couldn't be up there. They were mad because you were there, Again, I was like, fuck, I get it, it's a job. Like, I'm not gonna have her risk her job because of a rinche, I'm just throwing a fit. I'm like, nah, it's okay, man. So
You know what though,
years
Abner?
later when I got fired,
Uh huh.
huh?
No, go ahead. Finish your story, and I'll tell you what my thought. Go ahead.
Years later when I heard she was fired, I'm like, fucking bitch. Like, like, that sucks, bro. Like, after she did all the dirty work for you guys, you guys are gonna fire him. But again, everybody knows the reason. I'm not gonna get into the. I don't even know why they fired her, to be honest. But
Right.
I just feel like, oh man, this was one of your troopers. This was one of the riding, hard died, troopers that was always repping your company everywhere she went. She wouldn't even talk to me when I first signed with the other company. She's like, oh, that's fucked up, Amber, blah, blah, blah. Like, she was defending the company. I'm like, Mom, you gotta understand too.
Right.
So when I heard she left and they kicked, she got fired, I was like, damn, that sucks. I was like, but again, I don't know the reasons. I don't know why. But
Damn.
I
Well,
just wanted to share that.
you telling me all that? Yeah, you telling me all of this? I'm gonna tell you right now. You're not getting the Ryan Garcia fight, bro. You better just forget about that, Vato.
I don't,
They're not gonna give
bro.
you
I
that
don't.
fight. I'm kidding, Goldenboy. If you guys are
Yeah.
listening, I'm kidding, bro. You know I don't got no beef with you guys either. But
At
no,
the
but
end of the day, look,
uh,
listen. It's not about. You know what I'm saying? And it's not me talking shit. It's
no,
not basically. It's not because the company's gonna continue. They're still growing. They still have a Ryan Garcia. They still have the Linares. They still have. Oh man, Virgil Ortiz, bro. He's a beast. Man,
oh
that's a
yeah, dude, I
that
love
guy. If
Virgil.
they
Yeah,
take him right, whew,
yep.
he could be the next Canelo, bro. No lie.
And
So
he's
they
very
have good
traditional.
arsenal.
What
They
I
have
like about him.
so regardless of what I'm sharing, and I'm not sharing anything. I'm not sharing anything to put down the company.
Right,
I'm just saying, because you asked me
right. It's
how
your
I felt
experience.
when they kicked me out.
Right,
How why didn't I not sign? I told you why not, and that's it. It is what it is, and I told you the Ryan Garcia fight. It really is up to Goldenboy, yes, but it's also up to the zone. So if Eddie
right,
Hearns, wants this fight to happen, and he offers, good money, and he wants it, he sees that this fight has potential, pay-per-view or any type of big event, they'll make it happen, bro. Regardless of what relationship or whatnot, if he said this, if he said that about my mama, like, money talks at the end of the day, and we
absolutely.
all know that.
I don't see Eddie passing on it. You know what I mean? I think Eddie's going to take on anything right now because of where we're at and because they're going to need content for DAZN. I mean, so many folks are complaining about DAZN. There's no new content being put up regardless. I mean, ESPN Plus, I mean, if you're buying that, I mean, at least you're getting, new stuff. Every other day there's something put up there. DAZN is just basically blah right now. There's nothing there. Hey, and bro, I want to thank you again, man, for coming on, bro. I really appreciate it, bro, and your honesty and you opening up here on Leaving the Ring, bro. I wish you and your family all the best and stay safe out there,
Yeah,
bro. And we'll soon have you on here again, man, to talk and chop it up. Hopefully, when we get you back on,
yeah.
you'll be signed on to either fight Ryan Garcia or anybody else, bro. Because man, I mean, you're a beast in the ring, and
So,
obviously
so
you're a beast
thank
outside of the ring, brother.
thank you. We'll see what happens, bro. Because we'll see what happens.
Right.
Thank you for having me on. It went by quick, man. We're already in the 50 minutes.
It
It
did.
doesn't even seem that we're having a good conversation. It just goes like that. And appreciate your time, your space, and bless you on and your family too, and and also your station, bro. You know, keep doing your thing, and hopefully we get boxing back, bro, because that's all we were urging for.
Exactly,
For
bro.
boxing to come back.
There you go.
All
Abner
right.
Mares here on Leaving the Ring.
All right, man.
Just laying it out there. He's leaving it in the ring here on the Leaving the Ring Network. Thanks again, Abner.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Man, great conversation with Abner Mares, man. I've had him on quite some time. When he was, in that bantamweight tournament, I had him on all the time. I had Beckel, Yanni Perez, everybody that was part of that tournament and Showtime bantamweight tournament. I had Abner on. And, he's always been a good interview. And I think this time, though, for me, this was the more raw Abner Mares. And I think, the older you get, the more like, I'm going to let some things go because he was really PC in the beginning, which obviously you're going to be because you're not really used to talking to people, media people, that are just throwing questions at you like a dagger. But he got on here, man. I think with a lot of stuff he said. Just to point this out really quick, I didn't want to do any. There is no, in my end, there is no Golden Boy bashing. I don't think Abner Mares was doing any Golden Boy bashing as well. I think he was just expressing his feelings of what happened between the two. We always have Golden Boy fighters on here, So I don't want to get anybody's feathers ruffled up in this interview. That was not my intention. My intention, as always, is to bring out the truth and for everybody to get a chance to hear one side of someone's story. And like always, I'm always going to try to bring the other person side of the story and stuff, So, but it was great stuff, man. I appreciate everybody that tuned in, came on with me here on Leaving the Ring. Don't forget, we do put up content as much as we can every week. There's at least 3 to 4 shows that we put up here on the Leaving the Ring Network on YouTube and also in our podcast scene. If you haven't yet, please hit that like button and subscribe to us and make sure you hit that notification button so you know when we're up here on live. And that's about it, fellas. I hope everybody has a great Friday, great weekend. I think we have a show happening. This Saturday. I'm not really sure, or Sunday. I think we're going to be doing the Beers boxing in quarantine. I'm not for certain yet. I haven't talked to Johnny Zig yet, but I will definitely be back. And again, thank you everybody for tuning in to Leaving the Ring.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.